Hi and welcome to this presentation about Welkin by Elastisys, which is a secure European application platform that's made for software that's critical to society. And my name is Lars Larsson, so I'm the field CTO at Elastisys. I have a background in cloud computing. I've been working with cloud computing since 2008, both in industry and in academia. Right now I'm at Elastisys, and I've been there basically since it started, but I've also been at Access Communications and guest researching at Ericsson Research while I was finishing my PhD. And now I'm very active in the Kubernetes, DevOps, and information security field. All right, so who here works in cybersecurity? Very few. Well, cybersecurity is actually very, very important. It's critical to society. And it's not just me saying that. So I don't know if you can read Swedish or not, but I'll translate, it doesn't matter. So this is a very recent report that the Swedish military surveillance, intelligence agency, MUST in the Swedish, recently came out with this report. I'll put these slides on LinkedIn so you can find these slides and then you can click on links and stuff. The Swedish text here that I highlighted, it says that the effects of a cyber attack can have as grave consequences for societally important functions as a conventionally armed attack. So basically that's how the Swedish military sees things right now. They understand how important this cyberspace is. So it's not just like nerds with computers in their minds anymore, which is great. They understand that it is as important as defending against like tanks and airplanes and stuff. So they understand it. The European Union understands it. So the European Union has this network and information security regulation. I believe that's what it is. That's been in place since 2016. Now, it was recently amended to include additional sectors of society in 2022. So they understand that energy, transport, banking, healthcare, drinking water, public administration, space and stuff, all that's important, plus research and whatever. So basically all of society is becoming digital these days, as you may have noticed, right? We're at Stockholm Tech Fair, where we have so many different companies doing so many different things, and it's just amazing to be here. But it's also showing how big tech is and how important it is to society. And cybersecurity is what keeps us all safe and what keeps society humming along, even if we're basically under constant attack. Cybersecurity is really important to society itself. But I would also say that cybersecurity is key to innovation. Look at this picture. So this is not about cybersecurity, I get that. It's about security in general, but it's about how it's key to innovation. So I have a gentleman here from the university. That's awesome. What I've highlighted on this picture is, so this researcher, so many security things are in her environment. They keep her safe so that she can innovate and do so with confidence. And she doesn't have to worry about like getting an electric shock from that machine she's using. She doesn't have to worry about splashing anything on herself. Security isn't getting in her way. Security is making sure that she can do these experiments in a safe way. And cybersecurity should be done in the exact same way. Cybersecurity shouldn't like get in your way. It shouldn't prevent you from doing things that you're supposed to be doing, but it should prevent mistakes. Just like this prevents the bad effects of mistakes, so should cybersecurity. So that's the idea. You could say that cybersecurity is both hard, but also easy. Because there are basically a lot of things that are rather generic, that are just, it makes common sense. Just like this researcher had like protective gear, like, the lab coat, the gloves, her hair wasn't in her face. So just like that is like rather generic, and that's sort of expected for any type of research situation that you can think of in that type of lab setting. The same goes for cybersecurity. So to prove my point, this is going to be the text heaviest slide of this deck. I'm sorry, but okay. So if we deep dive into cybersecurity, here are some very good, like rather generic cybersecurity best practices, right? So if you are in this space, then you recognize a lot of these words or a lot of these concepts. Like you should have role-based access control, you should have network policy enforcements like firewalls and stuff like that. You should sandbox applications so that they can't like do more than they really should be able to. You need to have vulnerability scanning. You need to have some kind of way to manage secrets, to monitor, to log your applications while they're running so you keep track of what they're doing. You need to have some kind of automated security updates. You want to have encryption. You want integration with various like identity management systems, and you want some kind of intrusion detection system. Right? I just spoke about only like generic, typical cybersecurity things. Nothing that's out of the ordinary, right? Do you have all this? Who here has all this? Nice. University guys. Yes, they're on point. So somebody forced to raise his hand. That's also great. And one volunteer. Awesome. So I'm happy for those of you that have all this, because all of this is, like I said, rather generic stuff. But not everyone actually has all this in place. But none of this is specific to any like particular application. This is like not bare minimum, but it's very common things that all applications benefit from. Whether they're like conventional applications or like AI applications, it doesn't really matter. They all need to be embedded in a nice and secure shell, essentially. Welkin, that I'm here to talk about, is cybersecurity in that sense. So what we've done with Welkins, what we do is that we provide an application platform that has all those features that I was talking about. So it's a software platform where you deploy your applications on top of that, and your applications then benefit from all these nice supporting systems that we have that embeds it all in security. So as long as you have a containerized application, it can run in Welkin. And we've made Welkin such that it doesn't depend on any like third-party cloud services or anything like that. So it's a very self-contained platform. That means that it has all these security features that I was talking about, plus like databases, message queues, and because it's also got this very versatile piece of platform tech called Kubernetes, basically you can run sort of whatever on there, and it's very, very versatile. It's also cloud and infrastructure agnostic, which I'm trying to show here. Maybe the font is a bit small on this screen, but it can run both like in a public cloud, in a private cloud, in your on-premise environment, and also like in air-gapped systems. So such systems where the security requirements are so stringent that you can't run it with, like, you can't be connected to the public internet. So that's what Welkin is and does. So you can run this on like the big clouds, you can run it on Swedish clouds or European ones, and it doesn't matter. Or like even on premise on your bare metal servers, Welkin supports you. And if you're familiar with the term DevOps, who's heard of DevOps before? Yes, everybody. Okay, so the big cousin of DevOps is DevSecOps, where basically you try to smoosh in security as well. So that's exactly what we do as well. So what I'm trying to show on this slide with the DevOps loop, is that we don't really get in your face about how you actually develop your software, but we do help you with how it's operated. So the light green here is your software stack. So you're the ones that sort of plan and code and build your software however you want, because like we don't want to get in your way of how you code things or how you build it. But once it's supposed to run, that's where Welkin takes off and where Welkin can really support you in like making test environments for you and like releases and deployment and operations and monitoring of the software. Plus that we embed it in all those security controls that I was talking about. So something that was very influential for us when we developed Welkin was the information security standard ISO 27001, which consists of various technical controls. And what we really did was we looked at the open source space of cloud native technology, and we figured out, okay, these are the best possible components that help you achieve those technical controls or like fulfill the requirements there. And then we configure all that so that it works really well together, and then we keep all of that up to date and we maintain it. So that's what we develop, and that turns into our software, which you can consume in 3 different ways. So it's open source, you can go get it, you can go learn how it's been put together, like hack it your way, just do whatever you want with it. Do stuff, be creative. If you want to run it with our support, we can do that as well. So that's great for if you have like an on-premise environment, for instance, and you want to have the exact same look and feel and like how you deploy software, whether it's on-premise or up in the cloud. Then we can provide like product support with like enterprise support levels. Or we can even manage it for you on selected clouds. So we're on Azure, if you can use that, but we're also on entirely Swedish and European clouds. Elastisys, where I work, is an entirely Swedish company. So if you have reasons for, I don't know, because of data, like patient data laws or similar, that you need to have like a fully Swedish software delivery, you can go with an entirely Swedish cloud and have us as your managed service provider, and then you can focus only on your application on top. So you remember this pyramid picture I was showing a while ago, like this one? So you can focus all your innovation, all your time and engineering power on building your application, and that's where you should focus. We can take care of everything below and offer that as a fully managed service to you. A very cool thing, and this is something that's required especially in like the banking and financial technology field. Who here is from banking or fintech in some way? Nice, a few, yeah. You have this EU regulation called DORA, which has this requirement that you should run on different providers. Basically, you should not be, like banks are too important to society to be allowed to like fail if like a cloud provider fails. So because Welkin is so platform agnostic and that it works across many different types of providers, something that we can also do and that we help you do is that, so normally you might be running on one cloud, and then while your application is running, we make backups to that cloud so we can easily restore, but we also stream those backups to a different provider that we can also support. So if there is an outage, then we can, with like normal for us disaster recovery procedures, we can have you up and running again on like this new cloud or this other cloud within a matter of hours, rather than you having to figure out like, oh God, yes, we had a great setup with this provider, but if we have to move to a different provider, those services are not going to be equivalent. So that's one of the strengths you get by the fact that Welkin like contains everything that you need in a modern and cloud native application platform as such. So in closing this talk, it's a very short time period that I have here, and I also maybe have time for a question or two. Just to reiterate, so cybersecurity is critical to society and definitely also key to innovation. But you could also say it's hard but also easy, right? Because cybersecurity is a lot about best practices and actually understanding like sort of good sort of security hygiene. Welkin is cybersecurity. So it's a secure application platform for your needs. And it's got a lot of documentation around how it's compliant with ISO 27001. So when we offer it as a service, of course, we've been certified, but we also have a ton of documentation online, like over 200 pages worth. If you would print it all, don't. But if you would, it would be like 200 pages worth of documentation around everything that we do when it comes to cybersecurity, like ISO 27001. How we help you fulfill requirements from GDPR, the European NIS2 directive, European, what's CRA? Cyber Resilience Act, yes, exactly. Thank you. And patient data laws. You can run it yourself, you can get our support while you do it, or you can have us manage it all, and you get to choose your own service level so that it fits you and your needs best. If you haven't been around, I recognize a lot of faces here. It's lovely to see you again. But if you haven't been around, we have a booth over there by the AI stage, roughly. So come talk to us if you want to. You can find more information also if you go to elastisys.com. And if you want to find out more about the Welkin product and open source project as such, you can go to elastisys.io/Welkin. And I'd love it also if we can continue a conversation on LinkedIn, like via direct messages or whatever. So if you scan this QR code, you'll wind up on my LinkedIn, and then we can connect and we can have a chat over there. Thank you so much for your attention, and yeah, let's get in touch. Thank you so much.